All right. Well, there you go. Good morning, everybody. I have no idea what's going on. Usually there's like these little videos I can play, but apparently today the Restream platform has decided, nah, we're good here. We're not going to be doing that. So let's do this. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the party. Today is Friday, May 23rd, 2025. This is episode 884 of your Simply Cyber Daily Cyber Threat Brief podcast. I am your host, Two Thumbs, all smiles, Dr. Gerald Auger, coming in hot off the heels of, a little production issue. So we're operating about 90%. Can't play selected clip. Please try again. Contact support. Yeah, thank you, Restream. We figured that out about a minute and a half ago. So you do you, Restream. Guys, you got to move at the speed of business. Guys, over the next hour, me, you, Code Brew, Cephalus, Devin Grady, Lara Flores, I guess the Restream team, 30 minutes behind, Matthew Pelkey, Cyber Riskwitch, as always. Phil Stafford going into a 3-day weekend, y'all. We are all going to be shredding the top cybersecurity news stories of the day. I'll be giving my expert opinion and analysis on each of those stories on what it means to you as a practitioner. So how can you use this information to drive cyber risk reduction for your business stakeholders? And if you're looking to break into the industry, you're going to be asked in any job interview, how do you stay current? This right here is what they call a banger of an answer. Basically, not just that you're doing it, but being able to demonstrate bit beneath the surface of what you're doing with that information. So yes, hey, how do you stay current on the news? Oh, I joined Simply Cyber's Daily Cyber Threat Brief every day. That's fine. Just like saying that you have the Network Plus certification is fine. When you're actually dropping knowledge bombs and seeing how the pieces connect together in your responses to the other interview questions, that's where you're going to shine like a star to be able to demonstrate understanding, context, impact, relevance. All these things you're going to get. And if you just hang out with us during the Daily Cyber Threat Brief, not only are you going to get those top stories, but you're also going to understand how they, link together and go deeper and more beneath the surface, if you will, of these stories. Now, I want you to know, I don't prep or research any of these.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
I mean, because I'm trying to get Restream to do its friggin' thing, which it's not. I'm going to try one more time. No, of course not. So, Restream, you busted. Guys, I'm just happy to be here. It is Friday. There will be no show on Monday. It is a Memorial Day 3-day weekend. A very rare instance of the Daily Cyber Threat Brief not to stream on a holiday. We kind of get crazy up in this piece. But, it is what it is. I do want to say a really quick shout out and address a little bit of, congratulations. And it wasn't drama, but a little bit of a confusion that we had.
Yep.
Chuck Sapp coming in hot with the happy Friday, everyone. Let's start a super chat train. Yeah. Thank you very much, Chuck Sapp. Guys, I want to say shout out to the MetaCTF, May Simply Cyber MetaCTF competitors. Our winner, our very own haircut fish, Dan Reardon, the meme king himself, coming in first place. Dan, I'll connect with you and get you that black badge and $100 gift card. Noob pulling in second place, and Stoic with a third. Very nice. I do want to call attention to 14th place, Jerry Guy. I was able to compete for about 45 minutes. All the classic experiences as a CTF. Excitement, elation, frustration, disappointment, anger, animosity, apathy, quitting. That's kind of the stages of grief for me. I do want to point out we did have to introduce a new policy to the monthly CTFs just due to a situation. I want to give a shout out to Sam. Sam was a competitor in the CTF and actually performed quite well. So congratulations, Sam, to you. Unfortunately, Sam did not join the Simply Cyber private scoreboard until after the fact. And that's where we run into some concern because, basically we had to have a cutoff time. So we made it before the CTF. So if you'd like to compete in next month's Meta CTF free of charge on the Simply Cyber private channel in order to win prizes, you're more than welcome to do that. But please register before the event starts next time. All right, guys, every single episode I'm super pumped to say is we've got partners, we've got affiliates, we've got friends who enable us to bring this show and do things like cash prizes for the CTF. That money, trust me, if I was pulling that out of my savings account, Mrs. Auger would want to know what the hell am I doing. But yeah, the stream sponsors allow us to be able to do fun things. So let's talk about the stream sponsors really quickly, starting with Delete Me. Doink. Actually had a call with Delete Me yesterday. Listen, Delete Me makes it easy, quick, and safe to remove your personal data online at a time when surveillance and data breaches are common enough to make everyone vulnerable. It's easier than ever to find personal information about people online. Having your address, phone number, family members' names hanging out on the internet can actually have consequences in the real world and make everyone vulnerable. As someone with an active online presence, privacy is really important to me. I tell you guys regularly about my children and my desire to protect my kids, teaching them good digital cyber hygiene, teaching my kids, hey, when you put stuff out on the internet, it's there, indefinitely. So I try to teach them best practices, but also, we share the same address. We share, kind of the same phone number. So managing that information online is important to me, so I use Delete Me to help manage that. Take control of your data, keep your private life private by signing up for Delete Me.
Just become best friends.
Now at a special discount rate for our listeners. Get 20% off your Delete Me plan when you go to joindeleteme.com/simplycyber. Use promo code simplycyber at checkout. The only way to get 20% off is to go to joindeleteme.com/simplycyber, enter code simplycyber at checkout. That's joindeleteme.com/simplycyber, code simplycyber. Thank you very much, Delete Me, and thank you very much, Space Tacos. Get your CPEs here, choo-choo, all aboard. Yeah, let me tell you, every single episode of the Daily Cyber Threat Brief, including episode 884, just like Space Tacos pointed out, is worth half a CPE. So say what's up in chat, grab a screenshot, hashtag CPEs, I think, is got the little write-up on it. But basically, make sure you take a screenshot that includes the title of the YouTube video, which has today's date, May 23rd, and the episode number. And if you're really clever, the scrolling ticker on the bottom, the Chiron, will actually say half a CPE. So it is hot. It is what it is. Kinomed Knight says, breathe, man. Kinomed, you don't know me, man. I'm coming in with the fire. I'm straight fire all the time. I've got one speed, wide open. That's what's cracking. Good morning to the mods. Jenny Housley, Haircut Fish, Kimberly Can Fix It, Justin Gold, I see in chat. Chris Whitlock's probably lurking. Casually Joseph's asleep. We wish a speedy recovery for Eric Taylor and the crew over at Barricade. Speaking of Barricade, did you know Barricade Cyber Solutions has Fortified 365. Is your 365 environment secure? Well, with business email compromise, attacks on the rise, your entire operation, your whole situation, your deal could be at risk. Fortified 365 from Barricade Cyber Solutions is your defensive shield. Their team of experts implements proven security standards to protect your business from cyber threats, ensure compliance, and safeguard your sensitive data. They've helped countless organizations strengthen their M365 defenses with tailored solutions that address real-world vulns. Don't wait until after a breach to take action. Visit Fortified365.com today to learn how we can secure your Microsoft 365 environment against tomorrow's threats. Believe that. We are off and running on a gorgeous Friday. Good morning, everybody. Super pumped to be here. Do me a favor. We'll do the 2 ad reads at the end. It is Friday, which means only one thing. This guy right here bringing dad jokes galore at 35,000 feet. Just cruising around the Aegean Sea. No big deal. Drinking fancy drinks that have fancy vessels like coconuts or whatever they're doing over there with fancy umbrellas or whatever. We wish you happy travels, James McQuiggan. And when you're at 35,000 feet, you're at home. All right, guys, do me a favor. Sit back, relax, and let's let the cool sounds of the hot news wash over us in an awesome wave. I'll see you guys at the mid-roll.
From the CISO series, it's Cybersecurity Headlines.
These are the cybersecurity headlines for Friday, May 23rd, 2025. I'm Steve Prentice. Signal adds recall blocker. The messaging app has updated its Windows app to block actions by Microsoft's AI-powered recall feature from screenshotting conversations. When enabled, the screen security will set a digital rights management flag on Signal's app windows, blocking their content from being captured by recall or other Windows apps and features. Signal developer Joshua Lund stated in a post this week, quote, "Microsoft has simply given us no other options," end quote.
Nice. Okay, so Microsoft Recall, we've talked about Microsoft Recall before. It was like started and then everybody lost their mind, so they rolled it back in like what can only be described as like a PR nightmare. And then they like announced like, hey guys, we're just gonna like slow roll this. Dude, Microsoft re-announcing the rollout of Microsoft Recall is like when a team announces they're firing a head coach like during the All-Star break or like in the middle of Super Bowl week where, basically the news media isn't going to pick up on it and it'll kind of go under the radar. Yeah, Recall. Ugh. So Signal, which is, widely considered and including by me, the most secure messaging app, if you want one, out there. Not a Signal lookalike, not a Signal clone, despite what U.S. federal officials have been up to recently. The actual Signal, the one that's giving other countries that have authoritative regimes heartburn, that Signal identifies this Microsoft Recall as a problem. So Microsoft Recall, that's basically snapping shots at your screen, very much like a threat actor would do, by the way. If you look at like spyware, Pegasus spyware, etc., even way back, look at this one, just to kind of take it back. Taking it back like Spinal Tap, said Charlie Tuna. Mac OS, yeah, here we go. Where is my friend Patrick Wardle? What year was this? 2018. Patrick Wardle, my favorite, absolute hands down favorite Apple security researcher, just dumped this discovery. Hold on, that's like an actual real paper. Oh my God, this is gonna be worth it, guys. Trust me, okay? Hold on, let's go to images. Yeah, here we go. He gave a talk at DEF CON on it, and Black Hat, and Objective by the Sea, and everywhere else he could. I know you can't really see it, but this is 2018. Basically, this was a Mac malware, and one of the key things it did was take screenshots and send it. So literally, threat actors have used this feature and concept for years as part of their threat actor toolkit, and Microsoft is now bundling it as a feature. So Signal's like, bruh, nah. So Signal tapped in and is actually taking advantage of some functionality to prevent Recall from taking screenshots of Signal, further enforcing and ensuring confidentiality of Signal messaging for users. So if you can run Signal on your mobile, you can run it on a desktop computer. And, like they said, Microsoft left us no options. So I just want to say, for a company, Signal, that lets their product be free to continue to develop features, support the product, and identify threats and to what the customer's experience is supposed to be, and addressing it in real time, this is very rare in modern software, in my opinion, right? Like a lot of times, these companies are trying to like burn money so they can get acquired. Like 10x, we're gonna 10x everything. We're burning $1 million a month on run rate, but we're gonna be a unicorn, baby. So Signal like basically relies on donations. So they're uncompromisable as of right now. So very cool. And Microsoft Recall, I can smell what you're stepping in, Microsoft Recall. Don't think you're creeping up on me. Everyone can see you and smell you. Exactly. Hey, FedEx suggests that Signal discloses this capability so other applications can also do this.
Windows Server 2025 DMSA vulnerability warning. According to Akamai security researcher Yuval Gordon, quote, a privilege escalation flaw in Windows Server 2025 makes it possible for attackers to compromise any user in Active Directory, end quote. In a report shared with the Hacker News, Gordon said, quote, the attack exploits the Delegated Managed Service Account feature, that is DMSA, that was introduced in Windows Server 2025. The attack works with the default configuration and is, quote, trivial to implement, end quote. Akamai has named this attack technique bad successor.
Ugh. All right.
Pathology.
All right. So, all right. Carrie's letting us know that you can disable and completely uninstall Microsoft Recall. That's great. All right. So, a couple things here. One, dude, this is really funny. Okay. So, Microsoft Server 2025 has a flaw in it, a bug that is trivial to exploit around the delegated managed service account. Now, what's interesting is, this should turn into like one of those common attack techniques that pen testers are going to do. And what's hilarious is that this service, this DMSA feature, was actually introduced as a direct reason for mitigating Kerber roasting in an attack. So Tim Medine over at Red Siege famously invented Kerber roasting. If you guys don't know about Red Siege, I'm a huge fan. I love Red Siege. I love the people at Red Siege. Go check their stuff out. They do great work. And they basically, paid Paul. They borrowed from Peter to pay Paul here. So yeah, you could stop Kerber roasting, and now they've introduced another trivial attack. Kerber roasting's not trivial. They've introduced a trivial attack that can compromise this DMSA feature. Now, here's the one reality. Ooh. Here's one trivial reality that can make you feel good, right? Hey, for you youngs, by the way, if today's your first episode, hashtag first timer in chat. Let's get a hashtag first timer in chat. Also, thank you again for the super chat, Space Tacos and Chuck Sapp. Hey, Daniel Lowry's in the house. He knows Red Siege kicks ass. Kicks butt too. Sorry, everybody. Woo! Here's the deal. Windows Server 2025 is vulnerable to trivial compromise. Don't worry. Don't worry, because your business is definitely running Server 2008 R2 because you're terrified of upgrading the schema. No. We're running Server 2012. We're cool up in this piece. So chances are many of you are not even vulnerable to this attack because you're not going to upgrade to Server 2025 until probably 2040, 2041 maybe. So you could take heart in that. I'm being playful, but also crying because it's real, right? Like that's the real, like basically this is my inner monologue. The fact that we're safe from this attack because of the reality that we're not going to upgrade and we're running like legacy operating system servers. This is my inner monologue right here. And again, if you're listening on voice only, you're not going to see this, but it's that meme of the kid getting an interview where he like laughs and then like reality strikes and he just cries. This is my inner monologue when I see that we're not vulnerable to this new feature. All right. So yeah, anyways, I would definitely check this out. If you are a pen tester, you definitely would want to add this to your toolbox, whatever this is. The fact they said it's trivial means that as a pen tester, you definitely want. Hey, DJ BSEC, first timer in a hot minute. That's right. Good. Welcome to the party, DJ BSEC. Whoa, Outpost Gray's coming in. We got all sorts of celebrities in chat right now. Hell yeah, let's go. The final thing I want to share with everybody, and you may not know this because we didn't actually announce this. We did a soft launch on Tuesday, and I'm going to send out an email today. But if you didn't know, on Simply Cyber Academy, literally, we just launched a couple days ago, Hacking Active Directory from Ryan Yeager. This guy's like a retired Marine, senior pen tester. This course is $0. Ryan's like, I just want to help people. Can I make a full course on Hacking Active Directory and put it in your school? And I said, yeah, let's go. It's all here. You can literally enroll in this right now for $0. And as far as I know, you'll have forever access to it. Ryan's actively engaged in supporting students and stuff like that. I'll drop a link to this. So just kind of keeping it all relevant. Again, I wouldn't take this course if you're like aspiring to be a GRC professional because it's not directly aligned, but it is a fun course. It's not entry level either. Just spoiler alert, you got to have a little bit of chops. Yeah, so someone let Tim Medine know his Kerber roasting's fine until probably 2040.
Lab suffers a data breach. North Carolina-based Marlborough Chesterfield Pathology is a full-service anatomic pathology laboratory that recently suffered an apparent ransomware attack. The company stated in a breach notice published on its website that unauthorized activity on some internal IT systems was discovered on January 16th and that further investigation showed that files had been stolen. The data in these files generally includes PII along with medical treatment information and health insurance information, but this varies by individual. Over 235,000 individuals may have been impacted. The ransomware group SafePay, SAFEPAY, has claimed responsibility for the theft.
All right. Hadn't heard of SafePay before. Throw it on the list of, whatever, new threat actor names. I always point that out. And by the way, if we had any first-timers, welcome to the parties, pal. I didn't know if I saw any, but listen, I just want to point this out to everybody because I always felt like the emperor has no clothes. You guys know that famous story, like the kid's like, whoa, dude, this guy's naked. What are we doing up in this piece? And everybody else is like, no, the clothes look good. Like, you don't want to be the guy who's like, oh man, I've never even heard of this threat actor group. I better play it cool because I don't want to look like an idiot that everybody else knew about it. No, I'll call it every time. I never heard of SafePay. There was one yesterday that I'd never heard of before. These ransomware threat actors, I don't know if they're using ChatGPT to give them a ransomware threat actor name, but they're just all over the place. There's a couple that are more mature, Black Basta, Lockbit, Beyond 8base. Like some of these Reseda, like some of them keep coming, right? But some of them just crop up like it's some like an MLM pyramid scheme where they're like, all right, I'm going to give you everything. You give me 10% of your ransomware winnings and you get to name yourself. Be your own boss. Make your own hours. Name your own ransomware threat actor group.
I'll be Flaming Donkey. Flaming Donkey.
Right? So anyways, this is your classic standard attack. Healthcare company gets hit. Data gets out. They're going to continue to go on. They have to report to HHS. That is what it is. Right? Yes, the Pearson breach did make the headlines, and we even poured a little bit out for you, Jax. Okay, so Eric Taylor's reporting right now that this threat actor group, SafePay's, actually impacted 179 businesses. So that should just use that in a job interview or put that in your back of your mind. A threat actor group I've never heard of, right? And I do the news every day. I don't know if anyone else has heard of them, but kind of a smaller player in the threat actor scene, and they've hit 179 businesses. So that's 179 businesses with employees that depend on paychecks to provide for their family, all impacted. So just because they're small doesn't mean they can't have a problem. All right, LeGrot is coined themselves Venom Chicken Jockey. Good morning, Gerald and Johnson over on LinkedIn. Guys, standard best practice ransomware. If you work in healthcare, there's definitely an uptick in activity. I would say healthcare, manufacturing, and state and local municipality, and K through 12 education. Those are the four that I think desperately need to be really vigilant about. Basic cyber hygiene around ransomware protections and tabletop exercises to make sure that your response and recovery phases are in good shape, right? You don't have to worry about the detection phase in the NIST CSF from threat actors in ransomware. They'll handle the detection phase for you. They will let you know that they've popped you.
FTC slaps GoDaddy up.
Also, for everybody who's thinking about smoking butts, Gen X, millennials, you guys know. You see the word Marlboro, immediately you're thinking of some chiseled, Brokeback or whatever, just rugged dude smoking butts on a horse, marching around big sky country. Joe Camel, Fred Flintstone smoking butts. Dude, you Gen Alpha, Gen Z, you won't even know. Smoking butts was a thing. Do you guys remember when you used to be able, you could do it in Vegas still, but do you guys remember where, way back in the day, this is a Friday type stream. Dude, there used to be smoking and non-smoking sections in restaurants, but there was no difference. It would I'd be sitting at a non-smoking table and 4 feet away from me, it's a family of 4 just cranking butts, right? It was so stupid.
Side the head. The U.S. Federal Trade Commission has finalized an order requiring the web hosting company to, quote, secure its services to settle charges of data security failures that led to several data breaches since 2018, end quote. The FTC also alleged that the company, quote, misled users about its security practices, end quote. It found that GoDaddy was unaware of vulnerabilities in its hosting environment due to a lack of standard security measures. The Commission's order prohibits the company from misleading consumers, mandates it to establish a robust information security program, hire an independent third-party assessor, and add MFA.
And add MFA? Jesus criminy, dude. Talk about burying the headline. How about it? Dude, like MFA, there needs to be an exclusion, like an approved exclusion policy on why you can't have MFA. Like, answer me. I don't know why I'm yelling at GoDaddy. Answer me. I'm a guy in my backyard in a shed screaming, where's my MFA? Like my neighbors think I'm unhinged. Dude, the FTC is responsible for protecting me, you, SB Dubs, Kyle, Daniel Lowry. Exactly. Daniel Lowry knows what's up. GoDaddy's all sorts of pissed off, man. The FTC won't let them be or let them be me, so let me see. Dude, Eminem, before he turned into like mumble speed rapper or whatever he's doing now, he used to be pretty good. My kids do know Eminem. My kids do not know Dr. Dre. It's a damn shame. They know Snoop too, but so I'm just curious, what happened here? GoDaddy misled customers about its security protections. Okay. This is an interesting precedent being set. So again, here's the deal. They misled people about their cyber practices, and now the FTC is requiring them to basically be held accountable by independent third-party assessors. This is GRC contract work, by the way. And they need an information security program built up, also GRC work. Let's go. And they need to report any incidents within 10 days. More of a SecOps capability, but GRC would be the one doing it. So if you're looking for a GRC role, GoDaddy's clearly hiring. And then also, I just want to point out, there's a lesson learned here, okay? They misled people. Misleading means that they made statements that were not true. We take your security seriously. We implement best of breed practices for cyber defense. We do whatever, okay? This is important to point out. When you do third-party risk assessments, when you do supply chain, when you send a business a questionnaire and they fill it out and send it back, and that's the only data you have to support your claims, you're taking it on a lot of faith that those things are true statements. I just want to point out, a company as large as GoDaddy that's been around since the dawn of the .com boom lies. So, I always say trust but verify, right? Little Ronald Reagan action here. This is why, guys, data governance, and I know, oh my God, this guy's talking GRC. This is why data governance is important. Just because you're going to partner with some third-party business, right? Like, let's make a real example up. Let's say that I'm going to partner. I'm a research institute, and I'm going to partner with the Mayo Clinic on some type of pharmaceutical trial research or something like that, right? Okay, and this is like a very hyperbolic example to make the point. So I'm going to partner with Mayo Clinic on a clinical research thing. They do not get access to the entire EMR. They don't get star.star IP allow into our network. Like, no. It's easy to say, permission for everything and everywhere. My work here is done. Call me if you got a problem. You need domain admin? Shouldn't be a problem. Here you go. You need global tenant access? There you go. What you need to do is the hard part, the work. What do you actually need access to? Well, we need access to this. Actually, you know what? It's a lot of work. Just give us access to everything. No. If you want access, tell me what you want. I'm happy to hook you up, my friend. But you got to tell me what you want. Oh, I need this, and this. Done. Okay. And now let's manage it. dude, I'm not calling anyone in this community out, but a lot of people in my career I've seen are lazy and just take the easy button route. And it leads to massive problems because, yes, day one, here's the reality. Day one, I give you access to everything, and I look like a superhero because it took me like 5 minutes to launch the project. Day one, no problem. Day two, no problem. Day three, no problem. Everybody's loving life. Then, on the off chance that a data breach occurs and it turns into a PR nightmare and crisis mode, and why did we do all these things? You know who's not going to come, like, shoulder the blame? The researchers. I don't know. It is a responsibility of governance to ensure that these type of things are done appropriately, not the fastest way. Okay? Let's go. Exactly.
Huge thanks to our sponsor, Conveyor. Still spending hours maintaining a massive spreadsheet of Q&A pairs or using RFP tools to answer security questionnaires? Conveyor's AI doesn't need hand-holding and gets you accurate answers every time with limited knowledge-based maintenance. It reads directly from your connected sources, documents, wikis, websites, Confluence, Google Drive, and even your Conveyor Trust Center. You don't maintain a knowledge base, you connect to one. And their AI does the rest for you. See what real autofill magic looks like at conveyor.com. That is www.conveyor.com.
All right. Oh, it is the mid-roll. Give me a quick second. Really quick. Want to say shout out to the stream sponsors, Barricade Cyber. Smoke another one. 2 packs of Pall Malls, Daniel. Where are my cigarettes, Daniel? Grab my glasses and my ashtray with the beanbag underneath. Oh, my God. Are you going out? Give me some cigarettes. All right, guys. Shout out to the stream sponsors, Barricade Cyber. Delete Me. Also want to say shout out to Antisyphon, where Daniel Lowry works. Talking about Antisyphon, I just kind of roll the dice every day, like a D20 dice on what I'm going to talk about with Antisyphon training. Antisyphon training is disrupting the traditional cybersecurity training industry by providing high-quality, cutting-edge education to everyone, regardless of financial position. They are running a Blue Team Summit in August. You still have until June 15th to submit a paper, a call for paper, which basically means you're submitting an opportunity to speak. Now, if you're really quick, I want to tell you, speaking at a conference is a phenomenal way to begin personal branding, to grow your career, to become the CEO of you. I'm telling you with 100% certainty, you can come back and punch me in the throat if I'm lying to you. That's how confident I am that I'm not lying to you. This is a virtual summit, so you're in the comfort of your own home. It is, I would consider, like, low stakes. Take the opportunity, submit a CFP. If you're interested, I literally want so many people to do this so badly that I literally made a live, I made a video. I did a live stream, but then I republished it right here. How to submit your first CFP. Okay, now it looks like trash because my monitor's all sorts of jacked up, but like, dude, submit your first CFP. This is a step-by-step on how to do it. Take initiative. You will thank me later. I promise you. If you don't do it because you have imposter syndrome, if you don't do it because you think you have nothing to share, you're mistaken. You are sadly mistaken, and you're limiting yourself. This is how passionate I am about this particular topic. Go to antisyphontraining.com. Links in the description below. Also want to say shout out to ThreatLocker. Nope, that's delete me. Shout out to ThreatLocker. Let's listen to them really quick. And then we're going to do some simple minds and some simple jokes. Let's go. Come on. Oh, I can't. Are you kidding me? I can't run these videos today. Ugh. Restream. You suck, Restream. All right. Hey, guys, I want to tell you about ThreatLocker. Go to threatlocker.com. Basically, great product. They have helped large businesses. I know some large enterprises that are rolling them out and had very good success. It is essentially a deny by default application security solution that doesn't brick your environment. The big challenge with application security deny by default solutions in the past, like Emmet, E-M-E-T, which was basically Windows Take It this, is that it does not account for all the like weird apps that your teams need, the specific ones the sales guys need, the specific ones the finance folks need, and it ends up turning into a nightmare of maintenance. Zero Threat Locker has kind of solved this problem and done it in an effective way. Many people are very happy with it. I went to Zero Trust World, was very pleased with what I heard, with what I saw. You could see all of these wonderful people that use it, including the Department of the Navy, JetBlue, dude, like Fortune, 50 companies. So go to threatlocker.com, check it out. All right, let's get the mid-roll going. All right, we are off and running on a Friday morning. Love the energy. Guys, I can't predict what I'm going to say. I also can't predict the vibes of the show. We've got a pop and mod chat going on. DJ BSEC is dropping in here. Jack Scott, Outpost Gray's own, is all up in here. The coffee's flowing. You guys are on fire. We're going into a 3-day weekend here in the United States. It is lit. FedEx is running a POC with ThreatLocker. You nailed it. Daniel Lowry straight crushing it like a boss. Guys, I love the vibe. I love the energy. Hashtag Team SC. Jack Scott, I sent you a text message. I know you got your notifications turned off, but go ahead and check that out. Let me know. Guys, shout out to all of you. Hashtag Team SC. Love. I just thank you so much for making my part, I guess my job awesome. I love going to work. I love helping. I love the opportunity that I can say, yo, check it out. We got a brand new course in the Academy, absolutely free, from a wicked seasoned pro. This guy, Ryan Yeager's sick. Dude, it's just all about good times. I do want to say shout out really quickly to Tyler Ramsby. Also, many of you know Tyler Ramsby from Hack Smarter. Tyler Ramsby has taken a very involved role in helping shape the offensive security curriculum over at Simply Cyber Academy. So shout out to him and shout out to all of us who get to benefit from it. Hashtag Team SC. Now, every single day of the week, James McQuiggan, I see you in chat, James. I do not see. Oh, here it is. All right. James McQuiggan is sending me messages from a burner phone number. Guys, every single day of the week has a special segment, and Fridays is Dad Joke Fridays from James McQuiggan at 35,000 feet. He's sending me a picture of him at the Pantheon with his missus, or Parthenon. Dude. James McQuiggan at 35,000 feet. Also James McQuiggan in a toga. Love it, love it, love it. I'm looking to see if James actually sent me any jokes for the week. I don't see any jokes, unfortunately. So we may not have any jokes. So let's flip it to you, Simply Cyber community. Drop your best dad joke in chat right now. I know many of you have them, and I will read them live on air right now. And we will support James McQuiggan at 35,000 feet. Let's go, James. Let's go. Where's your best dad joke? Give me your best dad joke. I want to give a quick shout out. I wish I had it with me right now. Michelle Kahn actually has a kilobyte of dad jokes books, which is really, really funny. Go ahead and drop your dad joke in here. No, James McQuiggan gets a pass. He's on PTO right now. Let's go. Let's go. Here we go. What do you call a Laffy Taffy that tells jokes? A punderful treat. Okay. So Carrie starts us off with the first dad joke. We'll do a couple here. Jack Scott, I'm sending you a DM on Discord with the information we discussed. All right, let's keep going. What do we got? What do we got? What do dads wear to the pool? a Warham. I don't know. What do dads wear to the pool? It's easier if you put the answer in the single post there, because it's hard for me to find the punchlines. Scole07, did you hear the one about the GRC Godfather? He made them an offer they couldn't audit. Oh, there we go. There we go. DJ Bsec chiming in. I don't trust stairs. They're always up to something. DJ Bsec. Oh my gosh, that's very good. I like it. DJ Bsec spends a lot of time, money, and effort childproofing his house, but the kids still get in. The kids still get in. All right, Mara Levy says, oh, hold on, I lost it. What state is known for small drinks? Minnesota. Oh my gosh, Minnesota. Grandmother dirty joke. A boy fell in the mud. Oh my God. Okay, here we go. What genre or national anthems country? What's the best way to save your dad joke in a database? James McQuiggan knows that one. Why did the golfer wear 2 pants? Because he got a hole in one. What's the saddest cheese? Provolone. Got a new pen that can write underwater. It can write other words too. Oh my God. You guys are destroying it today. James McQuiggan's probably holding his stomach right now. What did the coffee report to the police? A mugging. SEO couple had twins for the first time. They were happy with duplicate content. And James McQuiggan himself chiming in. Where does Midnight, your favorite band, like to go on vacation? To Singapore. Oh my gosh, guys, love it, love it, love it. I invite you to read the remaining dad jokes. Let's do the la 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 laws. This episode's unhinged. Let's go. All right, let's finish strong, everybody.
Consumer Reports accuses Kroger of using loyalty program to sell customer data.
Oh, surprise.
The consumer watchdog publication stated this past Tuesday that the grocery chain, quote, allegedly used data collected from loyalty shoppers to build sometimes incorrect profiles of them and sell their information to other companies, end quote. According to The Record, the report was based on statements from a single customer in Oregon who used the state's new privacy law to expose what Kroger had been doing with his information, which turned out to be that it was sent to data brokers, tobacco companies, insurance, and marketing firms. Kroger refutes this report.
Dude, I don't know why Kroger's refuting it. Are you kidding me? This is absolutely happening. If anyone thinks for a minute, especially grocery stores, dude, you put in your identifier and they automatically give you free money off. They're not giving you free money off because they like that. They're literally supplementing the loss that they're experiencing from giving you $1 off a 6-pack of beers by selling your data to data brokers for $2. If anything, the grocery stores are making money off of it. I've always thought this for years and years and years. And if, all of these loyalty programs, right? Why wouldn't they? There's no, when you sign up, I'm pretty sure there isn't a box you check off. So I think I almost find it odd that it's taken this long to come out. And that, Kroger's the only one? Dude, do me a favor, Consumer Reports. Get after it. If anything, this individual, I don't know, this is a bit of a long run, right? So you might want to set a reasonable pace and kind of run this one down. But, this individual used their state privacy rights to query this data and then discovered it. If you are in a state that supports this, especially if you live in the same state this dude lives in, I would do this with every single grocery store chain. You could probably make a splash in the press. Okay? Dude, any of these loyalty things, gas stations, especially grocery stores, because think about grocery stores. They could see your buying habits. They could see what you're into, what you're not into. All of that advertisers want. They could see that, the first Sunday of the month, there's an uptick in nacho sales or whatever. So like, let's amp our marketing campaigns, the week before, whatever. Like all sorts of stuff. Not just for the grocery stores, but yeah, they sell all this, dude. As always, I'd like to thank DJ BSEC, who's like borderline supporting me / mocking me. Last week tonight, John Oliver has an absolute nails episode on data brokers. Okay. I love this episode. Data brokers. If you had no idea what data brokers are, it's like a shadowy cabal of high revenue generating businesses that just broker data. It's sick. I might even rewatch this just to refresh myself. Definitely worth watching. By the way, data brokers do not like Delete Me, because Delete Me deletes your data from data brokers, because even though data brokers live in this shadowy, depths of data brokering, there are regulations around them and how they have to honor certain things. So yeah, Phil Stafford said it. If it's free, you're the product.
Chinese hackers breach U.S. local governments using CityWorks zero-day. Chinese-speaking hackers have been exploiting a now-patched Trimble CityWorks zero-day to breach multiple local governing bodies across the United States. Trimble CityWorks is a geographic information system-based asset management and work order management software primarily used by local governments, utilities, and public works organizations, and is designed to help infrastructure agencies and municipalities manage public assets, handle permitting and licensing, and process work orders. The hacking group behind this campaign, UAT6382, used a, quote, Rust-based malware loader to deploy Cobalt Strike beacons and V-shell malware designed to backdoor compromised systems and provide long-term persistent access, as well as web shells and custom malicious tools, written in Chinese.
All right, here we go. So a bunch of things. One, this is what I would consider an advanced threat actor, okay? Chinese-based. Doesn't make them advanced because they're Chinese-based. But basically executing the entire cyber kill chain with a high level of efficacy and sophistication, that's what makes them advanced to me. So they're basically using this loader to deploy Cobalt Strike. Cobalt Strike's a really well-known C2 post-exploitation framework. It's actually a legit legal one. Like, you can purchase this if you're a red team and use it. Cobalt Strike does not endorse or knowingly sell their solution to threat actors and criminals. There are pirated versions of Cobalt Strike. Some businesses will get a legit version of Cobalt Strike and just use like a shell company. Conti ransomware gang was one such individual who was paying licensing to Cobalt Strike for a legit copy of it. Anyways, they deploy it, and then they install a backdoor, which, I don't know what this V-shell malware designed to backdoor compromise assets is. I mean, Cobalt Strike basically kind of is a part of the backdoor. I mean, this is a very feature-rich C2 platform, C2 post-exploitation platform. They do talk about web shells and custom malicious written tools. They say custom tools, but then later on in here, they mention Chopper. Chopper is a web shell that's been around since at least 2015. I remember seeing it. So, the more we have all this data and insights and examples, and still we're seeing these web shells get dropped and be effective. So, as always, Mike Saunders at Red Siege. Speaking of Red Siege and how awesome Red Siege is and how awesome Mike Saunders is particularly, all the people at Red Siege are awesome. Mike Saunders is extra awesome. He's told me that Cobalt Strike's very easy to fingerprint, right? Like, if you're not using a heavily modified version of Cobalt Strike, then normal tools are going to catch it. So I don't know if China is, or UAT 6382 is modifying Cobalt Strike, or if they're using a vanilla version and it's just the people they're attacking don't have good security defenses. So who are they? Well, and finally, Cisco Talos. I love Cisco Talos. Cisco Talos is up there with like Unit 42, IBM X-Force, Google Tag. Like there's certain like juggernauts. Microsoft's, I don't know what Microsoft's group is called, but Microsoft has a really great threat intelligence group. A lot of the big cybersecurity companies, like your FireEyes, et cetera, like Cisco, they will have a threat intelligence research arm that publishes data out based on the insights that they're seeing or the research they're doing. And it's usually pretty friggin' awesome. Cisco Talos is definitely up there. In full disclosure, I do work with Cisco and Cisco Talos just for transparency purposes, but I believe this even without the business relationship. So what else can you do? Definitely, you should be, I wouldn't say regularly threat hunting, but you should be looking for several signs of compromise. Web shells can be discovered on compromised assets. Really, you can see things at the operating system level and the network level. The operating system level would be, basically, malware installed on the box, web shells, persistence, like schedule, like there's different ways of doing persistence. Go check MITRE ATT&CK for that. But like scheduled tasks that are running, services, stuff like that. The other thing you can do is look at the network layer. Any C2 platform, including Cobalt Strike, you can see here they use the term beacon right here, beacons. Beaconing is a whole thing, right? So a threat actor isn't actively logged into your machine. Your machine's just compromised and reporting back in like a double agent, if you will, back to the mothership on what's going on. And then once it reports back, then, the framework will allow a threat actor to push commands or, do things on that compromised asset. But the way it speaks is through, or the way it engages is by beaconing. And beaconing, when humans do use a computer, it's very human, so it's very erratic and it's very random. Beaconing is typically set on a timer. So if you look for beacons, you'll see almost like a perfect every 30 seconds, there's a ping to an IP address you don't recognize. That's beaconing. You can use a tool like RITA, RITA, which is a free tool from Black Hills Information Security. I think AC Hunter, correct me if I'm wrong, chat, but I think AC Hunter is another tool which does have a free tier, but it's more of a paid tool with more features, can detect beaconing. From a security operations perspective, everybody, you want to have visibility in depth, right? You want to look at network layer, operating system layer, east-west traffic if you can, north-south for sure. Okay? All right, let's keep going.
Cisco patches high-severity flaws. On Wednesday, Cisco published 10 security advisories detailing over a dozen vulnerabilities across its products, including 2 high-severity flaws in its Identity Services Engine, ISE, and Unified Intelligence Center. The ISE bug impacts the Radius message processing feature and could be exploited remotely without authentication to cause ISE to reload and lead to a denial of service condition. The security defect was resolved alongside a medium-severity vulnerability that could be exploited for horizontal privilege escalation. More details about all these flaws is available in the show notes to this episode.
All right, so we're not going to be able to do this in real time, and thanks, Deb and Grady, for pointing out that AC Hunter does do the beaconing. I appreciate the confirmation there. Daniel Lowry letting us know there was a community edition of AC Hunter. Yes, so that would be a free edition, so definitely worth checking out. For network layer visibility. Okay, so Cisco's got 10 vulnerabilities. Remember, vulnerabilities do have scores. When they say high severity, they're talking about the CVSS score. We have learned that EPSS is a better metric for us as practitioners to evaluate the priority of doing these things. I'm not going to go through the effort of querying all 10 of these. I'll pick one right here, CVE 2025-20 152. I like to go to EPSS Lookup, which is a free tool provided by Barricade Cyber Solutions. you put the CVE identifier in, which is a unique identifier for the vulnerability, okay? I click check scores, and then it queries the database. You can see here the CVSS score is provided for convenience 8.6. This has a basically a 0.09% chance, 0.09% chance of impacting you in the next 30 days, which is very, very narrow. So, having said all that, yes, there's 10 vulnerabilities. Yes, identity services engine, identity authentication, security-related services is definitely something you want to prioritize. Okay, so if it was like a Cisco switch, yeah, you definitely want to fix that, but like that's a little bit less than if it's your internet-facing firewall or your VPN server or something like that. So identity services you don't want to sleep on, but given the EPSS score of 0.09% of a chance of experience in the next 30 days, you could push that one into whatever the next maintenance window is. Again, I'm not going to go through all 10 of these. As an exercise, I would go through them and see if any of them stand out as a problem.
Unpatched critical bugs in Versa Concerto revealed. These vulnerabilities, disclosed by researchers at Project Discovery, could allow remote attackers to bypass authentication and execute arbitrary code on affected systems. As described in Bleeping Computer, quote, Versa Concerto is the centralized management and orchestration platform for Versa Networks, SD-WAN, and Secure Access Service Edge solutions used by large enterprises, telecom operators, and government agencies. Project Discovery reported the vulnerabilities to the vendor on February 13th with a 90-day disclosure period. Versa Networks acknowledged the findings and promised hotfixes by April 7th, but then went silent, prompting Project Discovery to publish the full details to alert Versa Concerto users of the danger.
They promised hotfixes.
Make sure to join.
Hansel's so hot right now.
All right, so, okay, here we go. This is an example. Really quick, if you're running Versa Concerto, auth bypass, not good. That means you don't have to authenticate. You don't need credentials. You don't need to phish anyone. You don't need to, adversary in the middle. You don't need to steal MFA creds. You don't need to use an info stealer to get their session tokens. You just walk through the door. This is the auth bypass is the equivalent of taking the door off the hinges and just, maybe you hang up some beads or a tapestry like you're in college, but you can walk right through. No big deal. And then remote code execution, that means you get to walk through the door and then you're like, I'm the captain now, right? I run this ship. So yeah, if you're running Versa Concerto, you gotta patch it. Now let's take a step back and talk about the way things are written in a textbook and then how they work in reality. In a textbook, vulnerability management works like this. Security researcher finds vulnerability, discloses responsibly to vendor. Vendor has a period of time, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, typically not more than 90 days, unless it's like a really bad one and it's like Microsoft or something. But for the most part, you're in those windows. Vendor pushes patches, and then security researcher comes out like Aladdin kicking in the door to Agrabah, announcing Prince Ali, Aliyahi, Alibaba, marching on that big elephant. You guys know what I'm talking about. That's the security researcher taking a victory lap on their research, and everybody wins. Researcher gets credit. Maybe they get a little bit of cheddar from the vendor.
Straight cash, homie.
The vendor gets free or like well-placed investment in hardening their application. The customers get a tool that is not buggy or allows threat actors to walk through and take over the ship. Everybody wins. Now, let's live in reality. In reality, security researcher submits, gives 90 days, which is a very long time. Then vendor, I don't know if they're like, oh, hey, we're really maxed out loading out new features, so we can't get to this. Or what? Or, hey, there's no money in patching this thing. Don't worry, it'll go under the radar. Whatever it was, the business decided to not prioritize closing this vulnerability, which leaves the customers exposed, which leaves the business looking like a jackwagon and puts the security researcher in a really uncomfortable spot because now, after the 90-day embargo expires, the security researcher has to make the decision, do I disclose this to benefit myself or do I keep it quiet until they fix it? Now, what you'll see in 99.9% of the time, or I guess you only see it because if a security researcher did not disclose, we wouldn't know. So it's kind of hard to know the metrics on this. But what will happen is the researcher will publish their work. Typically, they won't reveal a proof of concept exploit code to basically prevent threat actors and script kids from getting after it. But by releasing it publicly the way this researcher did, now you've turned the heat up on the vendor to fix their things, because now it might actually be impacting financials, right? Because I don't use Versa Concerto, but I'm going to use it. So let me research this product, and I Google it, and this kind of thing comes up. Dude, I would tell you to suck an egg. Like, I'm all set, bruh. Like, if this is your position on cybersecurity, that we'll get to it when we get to it, I'm not interested. It doesn't look like there is a patch, by the way, so I'm not sure if you can patch it.
You gotta patch it.
All right, let's go. Guess what time it is? Guys, that was the fastest hour in cybersecurity. Don't go anywhere because we got a jaw-jacking program coming up for you. Jaw-jacking is mentoring at scale. I think you're going to love it because on Fridays, we do panel jaw-jacking. I just want everyone to know that I was going to have Jack Scott join us. Jack Scott from Outpost Gray was going to join us, but she just had to quietly decline because she's flexing. She's in the middle of being filmed for a documentary or something. So good luck to you, Jax. Congratulations on all you do. We'll catch you on the next jaw-jacking panel. Guys, I'm Jerry from Simply Cyber. This has been episode 884 of the Daily Cyber Threat Brief podcast. We will be going to jaw-jacking really quickly. There was some conversations about, hey, why aren't there more women on the jaw-jacking panel on Fridays? Ladies, like, come on down. Like, let me know. If you want to get on the panel, I'm not gating anyone. I'm all about Simply Cyber core values. And if you're new here and you don't know what the core values are, support for the community, empowerment to make sure that you can do the things you need to do to be awesome, and inclusion, Worldwide Wednesday, diversity, international, and male, female, and other. Like, I'm not gating anything. This isn't the good old boys club up in this piece. So if you're interested in being on the panel, holler at me. We'll get you sorted out. I'm Jerry from Simply Cyber. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Oh, well, I can't run the friggin' jaw-jacking video. Hold on one second. Oh, dude, what a trash platform restream. I am very disappointed in you. I am very disappointed in you. All right, ready? I guess I'll have to do this manually. How do I do this? Okay, hold on. I got to figure out how to do this. All right, just pretend that, here, let me do it this way. Are you ready for an opportunity to get mentoring at scale with industry professionals? Bring in the heat. Don't go anywhere. We've got jaw-jacking. All right, everybody. Welcome to Jaw-jacking. I am your host, Jerry Guy. We are bringing the heat to you today. Let me switch it off because on Fridays, we don't do just one person. We bring the thunder with an entire panel of practitioners. We've got some regulars that we have brought in here. I'm going to bring them in just a second. Let me get the jaw-jacking Chiron going on. Ladies and gentlemen, our friend Fleetus posting the third. Hi, Fleetus. How you doing, bud?
Happy Friday, everyone.
All right. Love it. It looks like we might have another panelist coming in here. Oh, yes. There we go. The stash himself. I love it. All right, guys. Hey, here's the protocol. If you have a question, put a Q in chat. with the question right after it. Fleetus, did you have a dad joke you wanted to share? I think there was one I read on stream, but you seem like the kind of guy who's got a whole, holster full of them there.
I'm okay at the moment.
All
No,
right.
I shared the SEO one. That's the one you read.
All right, I love it. So Tim Burns with the first question, and Daniel Lowry, let me know. Tim says, I'm hiring my first security compliance position. Can you provide some good interview questions of what you would ask? All right, I'll give one, and then Fleetus, if you want to give one. So really quick, let's just put to the side, how do you stay current on the industry? All these things. The only thing I would ask really is like, you are doing, a compliance audit, right? So you're auditing and you find a control that is partially in place. MFA, right? It's on email. It's not on the networking switches. What are your thoughts about compliance when it comes to a situation like that where it's gray? Blah. All right, Fleetus, what's your question?
Explain to me the value proposition that JRC adds to my organization.
Oh, wow. Okay. This guy's coming for your kids. All right. Hey, we got another panelist coming in. You guys know him. This guy right here. What's up, Wade Wells? Wade Wells is on mute right now. We're going to have to get this. All right. No problem. Hey,
we can blame Restream.
There you go. Oh, Restream. You trash. Go ahead, Wade. I know you work in the deep dungeons of Blue where like you get a burn from your monitor, but do you have a question around if you were interviewing for a compliance position?
No.
I didn't think so. That's okay. Hey, really quickly, I just want to point out really quick that Kathy Chambers, our very own Kathy Chambers, has publicly declared she's going to start making cybersecurity content. Love it, Kathy. So Kathy, if you're in chat, if you'd like to get in here, we'd love to have you on the panel. Ladies and gentlemen, Monster Energy Drinks Ambassador Daniel Lowry's in the house. Good morning, Daniel.
What's going on, guys?
Love it.
How'd you get that title? That's pretty nice.
Because on Cybercast IRL, which is the show that I do, the live stream right after this, we start the morning off where I take a Monster Energy drink, which you can see the fallen soldiers up here. And we do this long pour ASMR thing, and everybody knows we call it the morning pour. And I drink that throughout the
I'm all for it as someone who gets completely energized.
It is a needed item today. I was up really late last night putting together an electronic drum set for my daughter. It took a lot longer than I thought it was gonna.
That's cool. So you guys gonna start like a Partridge Family kind of band situation?
I need a drummer. What can I say? And if I gotta force the issue, then
no, Daddy, I don't want a drum. You're getting drums
right now. That's right. You pick up those sticks right now.
Oh my God. All right, guys. Hey, you know the deal. If you got questions, drop them in chat. We are here to help. Fleetus, lots of deep blue team experience and leadership. Wade Wells, detection engineer and blue team operator. And Daniel Lowry, educator, red teamer, offensive security, hardware hacker. Daniel, I got a question. I love hardware hacking for fun, right? Like as a discipline, it's a lot of fun to play around with these stuffs. Where have you seen and I'm not saying this dismissively, it's just the fastest way to say it. Where are you seeing the value in those skills other than it being really fun and really cool?
So it's a really good way to get like practical hands-on experience with doing security research on your own without needing to take a class or anything. It's literally a Goodwill purchase away of like you go to your local Goodwill, go to your local Salvation Army, whatever, and buy somebody's used router, right? That they're selling for $5 to $10. You take it home, you crack it open, you look inside. Can I find some old passwords that were used inside of this thing? Probably. That is a big fat probably right there. Then you can just go to Walmart or Best Buy or Amazon or something and purchase a new one and start dumping firmware and looking for issues there. Start looking. So because if you dump the firmware to an IoT device like a router or a webcam or something to that effect, and you can see what's going on the other side of the fence that you normally can't see from the outside in, now you have access to those files. Well, then you can start looking for, where did some bad logic come into play when it came to coding this thing? Maybe there's an IDOR. Maybe there's hard-coded creds. Maybe I can force browse into places I shouldn't be able to get to, and I can see where those things are happening on the other side because I've access now to that, because I've dug underneath the hood. I've cracked open the shell. I've dumped the firmware off of it, or I've downloaded it from the internet. Because it's not just the hardware part. There is the firmware element to it that a lot, if you're looking for old secrets, the firmware that's on it is storing that. The RAM is storing that from people that once owned the thing. So if you have access, physical access to something like that, you could dump the firmware off of it and see what you could find. But if you have something brand new that doesn't have anything like that, now it's just about looking for issues that have yet to be found. Now you can go get a CVE, put that on your resume. That's the real practical part about that, is being able to say, yeah, I do my own security research, and it impacts everyone that buys this device. So if you're looking for real world security research that you could put your name on, go buy something and get into the whole idea of looking for issues with that nobody else has found. And new stuff comes out all the time.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Thank you very much, Daniel. And hopefully that answered everyone's question. I do want to point out, just because, we're a community and everybody knows everybody. Casually Joseph asked me for the link to the panel. I sent it to him, and then he's like, I'm in bed. I'm not. Like,
oh, he asked it for me, because usually he's the one who sends it to me.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood what he was up to. All right. So then I guess I just put him on blast. Really quick, there was a follow-up question, and then someone said, can you ask this question? So Roswell UK asked about interviewing compliance people. Fleetus and I dropped our questions. Fleetus really kind of swept the leg like Johnny in Karate Kid, saying with the question, explain to me the value of GRC. Like, he says, Roswell follows up, do you have a list of things to check the candidate has for compliance role? Fleetus, you're nodding. What are your thoughts on this one?
So first off, I want to know, have they interacted with any compliance frameworks? This could be CSF, NIST, if they're comfortable with PCI DSS, what have they touched? What have they learned? So can they articulate any of the frameworks? Additionally, what vectors or sectors have they worked in? So do they know HIPAA? Do they know GDPR? Do they know anything else that comes from a PHI? So health information, personal health information. Can they articulate what PHI, PII is, so that's your personal identifiable information? That's what you're looking for. Can they define the terms, and then they have any experience with those terms and frameworks?
Awesome. I love it. Jay Fox says, I have an interview on Tuesday for a cyber adjunct faculty position. Tips and preps. All right. So for those who don't know, I'm adjunct faculty at the Citadel Military College. I've been there for, 5-6 years. So I guess I wouldn't, they're probably going to provide you with a curriculum, like here's what you're going to teach and all these other things. I would bring thoughts and ideas on how to engage students, be able to demonstrate or speak to your ability to speak to large groups confidently and accurately, be able to focus on student outcomes and student success. You got to remember, what's the mission of the college that you're going to? Their mission is to educate, grow, and push out students that have achieved learning outcomes that are mapped to whatever the curriculum and the programs are. So you need to focus on that. And this really applies to any business. Like when you go to a business, I know it's a little trite to say understand what the business does and how do they make money, but it's real. Like the person you're talking to is probably concerned with the outcome of their job and their business being successful. So you have to speak to and align. You don't have to beat your chest and be like, I'm all about student outcomes, but this is very deliberate communication skill where you're speaking to and addressing the talking points of the key things that they care about, that you can demonstrate value basically in delivering that. So that's what I would do as far as all of this. Also, great opportunity. Adjunct faculty is where it's at. I originally had an opportunity to become full-time faculty and I declined it for multiple reasons, but I'm very happy, which is why I've been doing adjunct faculty for a number of years. Here we go. I got my ISC-CC recently. Good job, Ed. I believe it's a step down from the Sec Plus, which I had but expired. Should I think about paying to take the exam again and reacquire the Sec Plus? Oh my gosh. Wade Wells, please. Fleet is very strongly nodding no. Wade Wells, drop a knowledge bomb on us, son.
I would say no, because I think they meet that same criteria enough where you don't need to tell you the truth. But like the Sec Plus does hold value with its name. That's the one thing. I would say more than the ISC. But I am going to say no. Like, you don't need that many. Like, hopefully, and this also very much, if you have experience, right? Depending on how much experience you have in the field, you really probably don't need it anymore.
Yeah. May I offer you the one piece of advice that I think is going to lock this in for you, Ed? You had it. Put it on your resume and put expired. Every single one of us knows what that means. And we're the hiring managers. Everybody in the industry knows what that means. It means you're not paying a monthly or an annual ransom to be able to have this thing. So
Well said, sir. Well said.
All right, let's keep going. Kayla Kavanaugh, spoiler alert, community member of the week next week, coming in hot. She's the New York, New Jersey ambassador, and she's throwing a meetup for the Simply Cyber community. Connect with her if you're in the New York, New Jersey area. Are there any, if so what, risks associated with purchasing old hardware from strangers? Just the way you frame that question sounds like very dodgy, but Daniel Lowry, you had just mentioned, buy some stuff off Craigslist, go down, meet someone in a shady parking lot and pick up some gear. What's the risk, dude?
Like, yo, you got them routers, yokes? Oh, man. I got to get, you know what I'm talking about, player, man. I need to get that. I need it. I need it. Right. So yeah, anytime you bring in something into your network, there's a risk associated. And that doesn't matter whether it's a brand new device that was shrink wrapped from the factory, or if you bought it at, some shady parking lot back deal behind a dilapidated Kmart. Not that I've done that, I'm just saying that's the thing that I hear happens. But so you just got to always go in, okay, what is the risk? How big is the risk compared to, if I bought this shrink wrap from the factory, what's the probability of there being a risk, this being a new device, this being a newer device, even if there are vulnerabilities in it, they have probably yet to be discovered, and therefore I still have some time. But if I'm buying from, that back deal, yeah, of course, you never like start just YOLO attaching things to your network. You're going to want to, if you want it to make it to be a part of your network, you're like, oh, I bought this to add to the complexity of my already built design. You're going to do some hard resetting. You're going to factory wipe the thing. I don't care how many times the person that handed it to you said, oh yeah, I wiped it, it's good. All right, never trust, always verify. Every time. And it's not because which is a weird thing, because it sucks that I have to look at my neighbor who's selling me whatever device to make $5 or $10 and get stuff out of their basement or the garage or whatever. And I have to go, I can't trust you. And not because I can't trust you, but I can't trust that you knew how to do X, Y, or Z. And that's not your fault. I'm not calling you a bad person. I think that's an unfortunate side effect of taking that mindset of never trust, always verify. And this goes to web devs, right? A web developer has to think of any time they make an input area for an end user that I cannot trust that the person that's going to put stuff into this is going to do the right thing. I have to assume they're going to try to do something malicious. Not because I think everybody out there is trying to do something malicious, but because there are people that try to do malicious things and they will have access to this. So therefore, I have to unfortunately lump everybody together. So yes, if you buy the back alley behind the Kmart Dempsey dumpster $5 deal, you absolutely need to sanitize or sandbox in some way that thing before it becomes any part of connected to your actual home environment. So I have a test environment, has its own router, its own Wi-Fi, its own little sandbox system, and all that kind of stuff that I buy and play with goes in that because it can't get out to anything. It's DNS sinkhole, all the fun stuff. There's no getting out of that. It's just never going to happen.
I call them a bad person.
Yeah, I called him a bad person. He's like, how dare you, sir?
I bought a used PC once that the dude was running his company from, and he did not. It was one of those Google Chrome boxes, an Asus Google Chrome box, and he didn't delete anything. He just straight up gave it to me.
Wow.
And I was able to go into his entire organization and see everything he was doing. And I was like, hey, man, just so you know, if you ever do this again, there's a pressure wash, delete everything button.
Like, hey, really quick, thanks for that computer. And also, Q2 is not looking too good for you. The forecasting's like kind of
I was visiting a friend in a hospital one time, and there was a waiting area, and in that area they had public PCs because a lot of times you're sitting there waiting for someone, especially if they're doing a surgery. It can take hours, lots of time. So they made these public PCs available, and I was sitting there with my friend who I was visiting. His wife was in surgery. And I go, you want to see something fun? He goes, yeah. I pulled up to those computers and I just went facebook.com. Oh, look, we're logged in. Amazon.com. Oh, look, we're logged in. And it was like people just, we've got to do better at telling people, like, you have to do, this is the bare minimum. A, don't use public computers. You have a phone. B, if
Daniel
you do,
Lowry just tell us he got arrested, because there's a guy that just got arrested for that. I don't
for
know.
doing that for just opening
doing
up
that
a
very
browser.
same thing. That very same.
I mean, this was somebody else, not me. I got that confused. I'm sorry.
donkey. Yeah. I love it. Hey, so question. I know I see some questions in chat. I actually got a question the other day on like YouTube comments or something. Someone said, "Oh, I'm a SOC analyst and I want to become a detection engineer. What do I do? Like, how do I go that fork in the career path? Stay blue, but not go SOC tier 2, SOC tier 3. I want to become a detection engineer." Wade Wells, definitely the right person for that question. Wade, what would you tell someone who wants to go from SOC analyst to detection engineer?
You learn how to read logs. No, that's the key thing, right? You have to try to, one thing, think about what you want. You are already the customer of what you would be, right? So when building out those detections, you need to think about that next level. The other thing is start learning like complex detection logic or whatever tool you're in. Honestly, once you learn one tool, you kind of can easily relate to all of them just because you need to know what fields and stuff regulate that. I am quickly learning that to become a better detection engineer, you need to learn how to write a lot better. Writing, not because you're no longer just writing dispositions of alerts, but you're writing descriptions, and those descriptions have to have usually a set plan of how to triage that detection. So that is becoming more and more important, as well as just documentation. As a detection engineer, you have to document a lot more of what's logging, how it's logging, why we're logging, that sort of thing. The last part is you have to kind of keep your ear to the ground a little bit more if you don't have a dedicated threat intel feed or threat intel team giving you stuff, because you need to know what to detect, right? Hopefully you can find some good reports out there that tell you, hey, you need to throw out this one for Okta, or you need to go write a detection for AWS that meets these standards because you have this type of asset in your network.
There you go. I know like Alien Vault has threat intelligence feeds, and there's a couple other ones. Like, is there a particular free one that, someone who's a student or whatever could kind of scoop up?
I'd say go look. I would say stay away from like the feed, that type of feed, and look at like big, like more security companies releasing reports. Like Red Canaries is always going to be the top of my mind. Go look at Sigma. As I said, Okta actually just released a bunch of public detections that they curated, like that type of thing. Go look at these companies who are providing like a lot of security, and usually they have some type of blog post out there on detections they've built out for their products.
There you go. Fleetus, do you have a comment on this particular topic?
Yeah, so just to add to Wade's point of view, it's the best thing you can do is to get comfortable with OSINT, doing open source intel and finding. Something we did in the previous SOC was we did a Friday report. It's called our bow tie report. We took all the alerts that came in for the week, the different vectors, what log source they were come from, and we built out logic that we were able to share with middle to upper management so they could see. So to Wade's point, like if you're seeing a lot of network detections, look at your DDoS providers. Look what Akamai is putting out. Look what Cloudflare is putting out. What are they detecting? What are they stopping? We just saw a large IoT botnet hit a prominent individual in our field this week. So find out what that would look like in your environment. How would you be able to detect it, especially if you don't have a threat hunting team and you don't have a good OSINT program? Be comfortable doing your own RSS feeds and OSINT.
I love it. Thank you very much. This is good stuff, guys. Cyber risk, which relative, I'd say she's like a long timer at this point, relatively. Any advice when you're hiring junior analysts? What traits and skills should she be looking for if they don't have direct experience? I'll weigh in on this one really quick, and then if people want to chime in, we'll certainly take it. I mean, with a junior analyst, it's not, I can teach you how to do some technical skill or do something, right? It's much more, for me, it's much more, what's your attitude? Like, are you, not just, like, I like positive people, but, like, are you taking initiative? Are you looking beyond the obvious, like, right in front of you answer and, like, exploring ideas, thinking, outwardly, taking initiative. I remember, like, I'll give a quick example and then I'll throw it to someone else on the channel here. I hired a network admin to be a GRC analyst. And you might be like, oh, and one of the things, the guy had no GRC experience, no cyber experience at all. And the one thing that wicked stood out to me was he wanted to get, at his last job, he wanted to get mentored by like the CIO, but he didn't have the ability to like go to the CIO and get time, right? So he basically developed, in coordination with his entire company, a mentorship program. He built this whole thing out. He got senior leadership buy-in. He put in all the work, all the effort, set it up so anyone could kind of connect with anyone, juniors with senior leaders. And then he was the first one, and he went to the CIO and got connected and started doing this mentorship. And he's like, it's what I needed to do in order to get the thing I really wanted. I had to build this whole thing out, and it benefited everyone. But I'm like, dude, that's baller. Instead of just being like, oh, this isn't easy, forget it. He like found a solution, which is what, I want, because I don't know what problem you're going to encounter, and I need you to kind of take a hack at it logically and then come to me with the challenges that you're encountering, not just come to me and be like, tell me what to do. All right. Anyone on the panel want to comment on junior analyst hire?
Passion. That's my big one. Like
curiosity.
That's a good one too.
Passion, curiosity. Here, I'll go this way. Passion and curiosity. All right. How does someone demonstrate passion, you, Wade? And I mean, you can generically pull from a real example in your history.
Yeah. Usually when you're talking to them, like, it's more of a feeling, right? Sometimes people are pretty nervous, especially junior analysts, when you're interviewing them. I found when you're asking them questions, usually you have to really manipulate your question in order to get the answer you want. Usually you can tell that they know the knowledge. They just don't. It's more of translating the question to the proper way that they can understand. So going around how they're studying, what they're studying, maybe are you going to local events and stuff like that, right? My good one is always like, name me a breach that you know about and what happened, right? Usually if you're at least interested in it, you can at least name a breach that's recently happened off the top of your mind, or some type of weird data stuff, right? If you're watching the news, if you're watching Jerry every morning, you can usually pull some type of security news right out of your hat.
Heck yeah. I love it. And just final thing, and then we'll go on to the next question. I remember one particular interview where this was the death knell. I don't even remember what we were interviewing for, what his answers were to anything. We had like a fun question, was like, what's your favorite protocol, right? Like, just kind of like, it's a silly question, silly answer. And we're like, what's your favorite protocol? And the guy's like, I don't know, UDP. We're like, why? He's like, because it doesn't care. And like me. And I'm like, Jesus, dude. Like, okay, you're fun on game night. Like, that's all I remember about him. I was like, oh.
He's not wrong.
I as soon as he said UDP, I was like, because it's a honey badger, right?
Yeah. Oh, it's funny.
You know what's funny though about that question is there's a flip side to that coin. Your interviewer might not be great at interviewing. So, but if you're a fire interviewee, it can make that experience a whole lot better. So if you bring the passion, you don't make them try to pull it out of you, but you come in excited, happy to be there, being like, man, I'm so thankful that you gave me the time to come in here and talk about, at least just have this conversation. Maybe I don't get the job, maybe I do, but man, I love talking about this stuff. And I'm interested in seeing what you guys are doing, what's going on your side of the fence. because this is what I want to do. If it's not with you, that be that as it may, I want to be it with somebody. So just being able to come in here and hear what technologies you're working with, and you start dropping things like, yeah, I'm watching Jerry Auger, every day I'm listening to the Daily Brief because it's so good. And that's how I'm kind of staying on top of things. You don't have to wait for them to prompt you for what are you passionate about? What's your favorite, blah, blah, blah. You just start talking, have that conversation, make it organic, make it fun, have a good time. I know it can be very nerve-wracking because they have something you want, which is that job. But you got to remember, just because someone's got a job that fits the description in your head of what you want to do doesn't necessarily mean that that's an awesome job. I think it is. And that's going to lower your nervous levels. That's going to bring your anxiety down and allow you to go, okay, I'm going to be a little more objective in this. And let's just have fun. Let's just have a conversation. And if it comes, I always tell everybody, you are interviewing them just as much as they are interviewing you.
Yeah.
Okay. Do not forget that. They're not going to be doing you any favors by giving you a job. They have work that needs to be done. They have a gap that needs to be filled. They're just as excited to getting that work done as you are to possibly doing it. Okay. So it's a contract of work. You are going to give them time and effort and skill and labor, and they are going to give you money, right? And experience. So that's a cool, like we're partners in this, and think of it that way. And you won't be so anxious because now you're kind of shopping, right? You're shopping, they're shopping, and hopefully you find the right connection. It's a relationship, as it were. So don't think that just because they have that job that this is it. If I don't get this, I guess I didn't make it, man. Forget this whole cyber career thing. It's never gonna happen. It's easy to run down that road. Please do not fall into that trap. It's just another conversation to have about something you're passionate about. Think of it that way. The right mindset, framing it the right way inside your head is going to make you be the best version of you that you want to be all the time. So do that, right? Go in there and have that conversation. Be excited, have fun. Think of that person across as somebody else that's just as passionate as you about the thing that you're there for. And all of a sudden, guards go down, right? And it's like, man, you're a cool person. This is the kind of person I want on my team, man. You're on fire about this. They're going to see that without ever having to ask a single question, or they should. Help them see that without having to ask those questions and pull it out of you. Bring the fire right out of the gate.
And if your passion takes over the interview, then you probably don't want to work there.
Yeah. If they're just sitting there going,
I've had that happen a couple times where, like, next thing you know, it feels like I'm interviewing them, and I'm like, all right, like, this isn't the job for me.
Right. It needs to be a dialogue, not a monologue on one side or the other.
Yeah.
All right. There's so many great questions in here. This is kind of a fun one to go around the horn. I would say, 60 seconds if you can. It doesn't have to be the most challenging event you've had to deal with at work, but a challenging event, a little peek behind the curtain for all of us. I'll go first. That way the panel can take some time to reflect on this. Also know that, some things you can't disclose publicly for reasons. So when you say most challenging, there's a lot of dimensions, right? You could be dealing with an active incident. You could be dealing with a peckerhead boss. You could be dealing with an acquisition, and all of a sudden you're relearning what your new role is. I want to share a challenging event. When I was at, and I don't even care sharing this publicly, when I was at MUSC, I got promoted into a role called Cybersecurity Architect, and it's the most senior level technical or practitioner role on the InfoSec team, kind of like a counterpart to the CISO. And they were going to roll out enterprise architecture, right? Which is this very formal large business strategy where you have a data architect and an infrastructure architect and an enterprise architect. And it's really designed to be very deliberate about how you're delivering and growing infrastructure and making sure all things align. Anyways, we started this initiative, and it became very painful, obvious quickly that maybe the right people weren't in the right roles. And we were not going to be able to execute on enterprise architecture. And I tried very hard to make it happen, and it didn't. And what made it challenging was at one point I basically made the decision internally to myself that this isn't happening, and I'm no longer going to spend my energy and effort trying to basically hold a tent up that has no poles in it. Like I'm like literally, we're trying to camp and there's no poles in the tent. I'm the only one holding this friggin' thing up. So that was kind of a challenging one because you had to make a deliberate decision to kind of like detonate and move on without really changing your role. So I just kind of like politically maneuvered and reallocated my focus and had an explanation for everything. Fleetish, you want to go give us a challenge and event?
So this one's a little tricky. So I'll go through it. So we had a passionate junior analyst who felt like that they were willing and capable to do anything and everything we gave them. Well, we learned very quickly that this individual was making changes to environments and not documenting them, which we all know no change control or just no documentation is very difficult. So they went on leave, went on a PTO, was on a cruise boat, so we couldn't reach them. And all of a sudden, things just started falling over. And it took us going through logs, looking to figure out that he was actually programmatically pushing changes. And we didn't know about these programmatic changes, and someone had pushed a change over top of it during the change control meeting, which interrupted his change. So while he was on vacation, he had a cron job. For those who were aware, they kept pushing the same update over and over and over again. So we worked all night trying to find this. We finally found the job running on the Linux server that he had scheduled. He didn't tell anyone. So it caused a lot of late nights, and it would have been easy just to call him because we saw it was with the service account that he created. So we knew who owned the account, which was making the change after we started digging through the log. So story here, document what you're doing, put change tickets in if you can and should, and then tell your peers if you've got scheduled tasks that are running when you're on a long-term PTO and you can't be reached.
There you go. Yeah, and communication's critical. Wade, share with us.
Man, I got a couple, but I got a good story and then one that's just like typical red tape. I'm gonna go with the good story. During early on in my MSP career, WannaCry hit, and I was working for a managed security provider, and it was pretty much all hands on deck for like 3 days straight. Right, it was more than that. At the time, I was already working 10-hour shifts. Those got bumped up to like 12, 14. And then it's 12, 14-hour shifts like 3 days in a row. And then it's talking to customers, right? Trying to back them off a bridge. Trying to also hunt in their environments to show them where they're at, how they do stuff, going through. And this isn't like small customers. At the time, I was in charge of, or at least working with the enterprise customers at that time, which are like big names. I was on, like, me as a 25-year-old like security analyst was on the phone with like CEOs and stuff like that, trying to be like, hey, like, here's how you guys should do things. Here's what's going on, as they're bringing in like third-party IR in. So they're talking to me. It was communication all over the place. I had to do really good documentation to show what we did, to show that we provided value while doing that, while also kind of keep my cool under high pressure. It was a fun time. Like, I look back on it, it's probably the hardest time of my career, but it was probably, at least looking back, but it was probably also one of the most fun times, at least for a security person.
Yeah, I typically find adversity, once you get through the fire, there's a lot of benefit and value.
Oh, yeah.
Daniel, share with us.
Oh, let's see here. There was a time sitting at the desk enjoying my day when all of a sudden the dashboard lights up like a Christmas tree. You're like, what's this? What's going on here? And then so my associate, who had their office right across the hall from me, steps him off and goes, are you getting these alerts? I'm like, yeah. Are you getting alerts? He's like, yeah. I go, okay, so maybe there's something going on. Come to find out, so I worked for an insurance company, and the insurance company has county offices throughout Florida. And one of the offices was losing its mind. And then all of a sudden another office was losing its mind. And then all of a sudden another office was losing its mind. And we're like, what's going on with this? We're seeing a malware outbreak. So we call the, we start cleanup. We start shutting things off at the county level, at those county offices. We cut off access to the rest of our systems so they couldn't continue to infect. And then we call the original office and say, okay, walk us through what was going on. What happened? And they were like, I don't know. We got this email. It was a customer. They were talking about there was a problem with a billing statement. So we opened the billing statement, and then all of a sudden all this started happening. We're like, okay, so don't do that, right? We got to clean this up. So we clean up the infection. We get everything back to normal. It took us like an hour. And you got to sit back in the chair. And in 5 minutes, it starts lighting up again. We're like, oh, man, it must have gotten, somewhere else. Nope, same office. We immediately knew what to do, of course, and jumped right back on the phone and said, hey, what you doing? Did you like shut off a machine that had this infection and you turn it back on when we got done, and so we didn't know it was infected? Or like what happened? How did this do this again? And they're like, oh, well, you know what? I got to look at that invoice because the customer said they had a problem, so we reopened it. We're like, are you kidding me? What do you? We told you this is where the infection. Well, I can't ignore the fact that a customer is having a payment issue. I go, you can absolutely ignore it, and you're gonna, because guess what? That just got deleted out of your inbox. It's gone. Like, you're never opening it again. And we basically like slapped them on the wrist by cutting off internet access to their office for the rest of the day, and said, yeah, you can just go home.
Yeah, you're done for today.
You're done for today. We have a malware infection, and until we get it cleaned and squared away, that's what's up. I had a constant kind of that kind of thing with people not understanding that you're the vector of attack, and I don't understand what you don't understand about this. I had a lady one time, her machine kept getting infected, and I would clean it up. Next day, infected again. I'm like, what the hell is going on? What are you doing? Are you clicking on emails? No. Nothing. I couldn't figure it out. So one day I go up to her office and I go, we got to figure out what's going on because you keep getting infected and we got to make this stop. And we're talking about possibilities. And I look on her desk and she's got this candy dish on her desk. And it's got like 6 thumb drives in it. And I go, what are those? She goes, oh, those are my work files. I go, what are you talking about? She goes, well, when I like to work from home a lot. So what I'll do is I'll download files from my work computer. I'll take them home and use my laptop at home. And I go, well, that's mystery solved. And you would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for you meddling IT workers, right? And there it was. I go, well, what's happening is you're taking this home, you're plugging it into your laptop, which has malware, and it's infecting the drive. And then you bring it here and you plug it into your desktop and you're getting infected. Why are you doing this? I go, we have a VPN. You can remote desktop into your computer. You can access file shares. We have this all set up so you can do this securely. Why are you doing it like this? And she's like, well, that's how I do it. I go, what if you're driving with these files and God forbid, car crash, and that little thumb drive goes off into the ditch and we never see it again and those files are gone. Have you thought about that? And then she continued to tell me about how she had a CS degree from the University of Florida. I go, you need to go get your money back. Because if that's what they're teaching you over there, I don't think they are. I feel like this is something that you baked up on your own. But we're going to stop doing this as of today. And she goes, well, no, I'm not doing that. I said, well, we'll see about that. Because I have admin powers. And I have been given the responsibility to wield them appropriately, and I will. I'll shut off your USB. I can, through group policy, just say, no USB drives for you. Anywhere you log in, it goes bye-bye. And then we had to have a long conversation about why that was a bad security practice until she did. Even when I explained it, she didn't get it. That was really frustrating. That said, I'm going to have to bounce because it's 9:45.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Daniel Lowry. If you enjoyed his content, if you like his voice, he does do ASMR. Here we go. This right here is Daniel Lowry IRL. He doesn't do ASMR. I'm joking. He does do more of this kind of mentoring and jaw jacking, as we've called it. And he'll be going live in 15 minutes. So at 10 a.m. Eastern time on his channel, Daniel Lowry, Cybersecurity Livestream, Cybercast IRL. I'll link it right now and pin it to the top of the YouTube chat. Daniel, thanks so much. We'll see you over there when we raid your show.
I look forward to it, Jerry. See you guys. See you, Wade. See you, Fleetus. Have a good day.
All right. We are pinned. Nailed it. All right. So Now that he's gone, let's talk trash about him. No, I'm joking. So this question's been asked a whole bunch. How do you see AI as a tool to help GRC pros develop policies and risk assessments? I've actually started appropriating Fleetus post in the thirds kind of tagline on this one. So Fleetus, your royalty check should be in the mail, probably the first of the month. Fleetus says this. I love it. You should think of AI as like an intern. Okay, they can do grunt work. They can't quite get you coffee, but it can help you move faster and check things and everything. But ultimately, it's an intern, and you're the one doing the work. So for me personally, for developing policies and risk assessment, you can puke into AI, kind of your situation and what you're looking for, and then get a draft out. But then you need to refine it. And I think there was another question someone asked earlier about like just having AI just churn out policy. You can do that, but guys, like you can just buy box policy now. You don't need AI to do it. I mean, I guess you'd be free, but like they've had box policy for years, meaning you get all 18 control families in NIST 853 with a policy and purpose and scope and engage, management commitment, all that crap. Those policies don't do anything for your business unless you're looking to just get a checkbox that you have them in place. They definitely do that. But policy needs to be basically a mapping of what's going on at the business with respect to the governance and the tone of the business leadership on what's okay and what's not okay. Because the point of the policy is to communicate the appropriate expected behaviors of the workforce from leadership. That's what policy is. Policy isn't a friggin' something you put in the policy handbook and hand to someone and be like, this is what we do here. Like, it's supposed to be a communication tool to level set and be crystal clear. If you've ever had a conversation with someone and said, hey, we should totally do this, and they're like, yeah, let's do it. And then you get to the end and it's not what you thought or they thought, or you're having a disagreement and it's like, I thought it was this and no, I thought it was that. If you wrote it down and everybody agreed to it, well, then there would be no confusion about what expectations were. This is why we have contracts and MOUs and stuff like that. That's all a policy is. Fleetus, what do you think? AI, you just gave a talk, Anticast, which is available on replay, Antisyphon YouTube channel. What do you think, dude?
I will give it to you back to exactly what you just said. So you can draft as much as you want or as little as you want, but it needs to be put into the context of your organization. You need to understand back to the mission value statements. What sector do they work in? What regulatory are the high value assets when you write these policies? Make sure that they use tone that's appropriate. I know we had this discussion inside, I think, Discord. It shouldn't be objective. It should be shall, will, not should. Because you give the opportunity for people to make discernment. And AI will do that. AI will give you very strong policies that make no sense. I said this during my simulcast. So you have to read it with a fine-tooth comb, just like you would if you're reading a log. Like, there's going to be errors. Like, the developer's going to accidentally parse something incorrectly, and AI is going to parse something incorrectly. And without context, and you putting the human eyes back on it, I think someone in the chat actually said it needs human eyes. It also needs human empathy. You got to put empathy back into your policy, because at the end of the day, you're building the business to do business, not to impede business.
There you go. Wade, got a question for you coming in hot. This is a great one. Sean Sailors has an internal interview, right? So moving within the company. How should they approach that with the hiring manager? Send them projects they're working on, give them some insights. What do you think?
That's like a whole nother level that could be very sticky. So I almost think about going into that as like a hostile interview. They should absolutely know everything about you beforehand because they've talked to your manager already. Usually it depends on the organization though, where I know sometimes they don't. I would get ready with all the projects you had and how you've already affected the company, right? This is someone you can actually be completely honest to with all those projects and don't have to maybe hide some stuff here and there. I'm going to go. I always OSINT the manager that I'm interviewing to try to know them, right? Know their team, probably know what they're into, hobbies, stuff like that as well, just to get a good overview of what you're going into maybe and understand their personality beforehand. And then once again, since it's an internal interview, if you had anyone who's at least talks or works with that team, I would talk with them and try to see what they know as well.
100%. I would absolutely try to leverage all relationships you have at that business to get word to that hiring manager about you, but not through you. You know what I'm saying? I love it. All right, let's keep going. So here's an interesting one. Fleetist, I know you love to do mentoring. Taekwon Gong's been in the community for a long time. Been pushed down a little bit, had some trouble, has questioned whether or not cyber's for them. What do you say to someone who's like, going through the paces, doing the things they're supposed to do and encountering some adversity?
So I'm going to be tough here. You control your destiny. You control your passion. No one should be able to squash your passion. If you're passionate about something, you will find ways to do it. And it may be informal or formal. I've talked about this in some of my streams. I've talked about it here in Jawjacking. Someone is there to listen. You just haven't found the right person yet. Don't invest. Don't talk to the individuals who only put down negative things or are narcissistic. You're in the wrong community. So if you're getting that from this community, I apologize. You should not be getting that from this community. So move on, shut that door, move on to the next one. And then have empathy for them. Say, hey, why? You can start asking questions back to that person if you choose to maintain that relationship. If it's your spouse, a partner, a loved one who's killing it, ask them why. Do they have envy? But don't stick on that one. Go invest. Go to your local B-sides, go to your ISSA, your ISACA, go to a conference and be with like-minded individuals. You don't have to be in the field to attend these conferences. And put a call for paper out there to talk about your interests. We want to hear in these talks, like a lightning talk, why you're interested, what got you passionate, what got you interested, how did you decide this was the field for you? Because I preached, and I will continue to preach, security is everyone's job. We just happen to put security in our titles.
100%. I love it. I just linked to the, excuse me, I just linked to the talk I gave recently, which was literally designed to help inspire people how to submit your first CFP. I have submitted countless CSPs. I have spoken at conferences. All of us have right here. I'm telling you, I guess let's do this for a second because Fleetish just mentioned it. If you guys can each give me 30 seconds on the benefit of speaking or getting into kind of speaking at conferences. Fleetish, give me a benefit. Why should someone in chat who's never done it consider doing it?
It builds your network. It gives you an opportunity to be an SME because when you take the stage, you're now seen as the subject matter expert. And it gives you confidence to go back and apply what you're learning. Because when you're teaching something or sharing something, I'll quote Wade, you probably spent too many hours on it that someone wouldn't afford it if you were billable, because you want to make sure that when you stand up, you're prepared. So it gives you a confidence that you know the material because you've prepped for it and you're passionate about it.
Wade, why should someone who's in chat right now who's like, I'm not ready, I don't have anything to share, I don't know, meh. What do you think? Why should they consider it?
It's so cheesy, but it makes you feel better, honestly. I have more fun usually like giving back to the community than doing my primary job most of the time. And usually because it does have value, right? There's always someone out there that is below you that you can easily bring up, that you can teach and tell something. And honestly, like most of the time when you're public speaking, everyone's just amazed you're up there actually talking in front of people. Like that's what I found. And usually there's one person in that crowd that you will at least give some nugget of value to. And if that's just one person, great. You still did it. You still accomplished a goal, right? And now next time you do it, you can do 2 people. You can go further. So just helping the community overall and like, right, the rising tide raises all boats, and just keep going for it.
Exactly. So if you're on the fence, don't be, right? There's a lot of opportunities. Again, there's different conference levels, right? So doing your first talk at Black Hat's probably not a great practice. B-Sides is good. Simply CyberCon, we have an entire track for first-time speakers. Blue Team Summit's a virtual one. Virtual, you can do it from your house, very comfortable. So
only 20 minutes.
I'm kind of on this train to get people to speak. That's kind of like, I guess, low-key my goal for 2025.
I think we
Yeah,
had 40 new speakers at B-Side San Diego.
There you go. Yeah.
Each was 20 minutes back to back to back to back all day.
Love it.
Yeah, I'll add one more quick thing here.
Yeah.
You never know what friends you'll make from a conference, what acquaintance, because you come out of that giving back, but also gaining something from it. You'll get something from speaking. And I'm not saying you're doing it just to get something, but you'll make a new friend. I met Jerry because I came to his Simply Cyber and spoke at his conference. I got to know Wade because of the conferences we're in. I wouldn't be on here if I didn't put a CFP in. Like, I would not know these gentlemen if I did not put the CFP in and speak at Simply CyberCon last year. You would not be hearing from me right now.
Thank you, Fleetus. I appreciate that. It's like such a great testament. Like, again, just to take a step back, like the things that we share in jaw-jacking and on this panel, daily, it's the guidance, it's the advice. We're not saying it because we think it can work. Like, we've seen it work. We know it'll work. Just, again, you got to take the step yourself, right? It is kind of intimidating. Just another one, really quickly, Christina Paulika, at Simply CyberCon last year. Now, she's been a major member of the community anyways, but she had a back pocket talk and she whipped it out in like 30 seconds. We're like, the speaker isn't here. What are we doing? She's like, I got this. Like, move. And that's huge value. Cyber Risk, which says, what is Simply CyberCon? Oh, when? I was like, whoa. November 2nd and 3rd. We're actually going to be updating the website. I'm waiting for Marriott to get back to me with the room block stuff. It's November 2nd and 3rd. We've got all the training. Actually, we don't have the blue training locked in. Our blue training keeps falling through. Yeah, Wade was our number one option. That fell through. And then Eric Capuano was going to consider it, but he's got a conflict. So we're going to have some great training as well. But we're just about a minute and a half away. So let's pump our stuff. Fleetus, what do you got cracking? Where can people find you? What do you got going on?
So you mentioned already, I did an anti-cast yesterday, so go check that out. It was around the human-centric side of AI and cybersecurity. I have, I believe, breaking into cyber video dropping today with Ginger Hacker. It should come out, I believe, this afternoon. It might be out this morning. And then, of course, I'm still putting out daily food for thoughts on my channel around the same thing. So this week I'm focusing on security awareness, and I will continue to put out more material there. And as you all know, I'm giving back to the community until I find new work. So if you guys have questions, have comments, or if you feel like I'm a great fit for your organization, shameless plug, reach out, let me know. Happy to come entertain it.
He's Fleetus posting the 3rd on Discord. Also, Fleetus posting 3rd in real life, so it's very easy to find him. Wade, pump the stocks.
I am teaching at the Blue Team Summit. At least I believe I am. I haven't checked the website. I'll let Kathy
That's how you
chime
find
in
out.
on that. Yeah. I'm teaching my CTI 101 class. A lot of people within the Simply Cyber community have already taken it. I've been trying to make it 2 days for a while now, and I just haven't had the time, so it's still my 1-day course. Next Friday, I am giving a talk with Datadog about detection engineering. It's their first security summit. The talk is called Everything But the Logic. And so I talk about everything you need to do for detection engineering, but write the detection logic. It's a quick 20-minute talk. It's pretty cool. If you heard me talk at HackSpaceCon, you heard, I would say, most of it, which was also good. But it's very much old man Rancid Sky, John Strand type of talk where I kind of just go off the walls on some point.
Oh, nice.
It's pre-recorded, and I've realized I hate pre-recorded talks. I'm too much of a perfectionist where I have to keep recording it over and over again. And I probably did 30 takes.
How can they find the Datadog thing?
Yeah, let me find you a link.
All right, yeah, drop a link in chat. I'll pull it up and share, and then we'll go from there. Really quick, hopefully you guys know what I'm up to. Doing all sorts of stuff. A lot of focus. Look for a lot of things coming out about the Simply Cyber Academy. I'm super, super pumped about that. Thank you very much. Wait, I'll share that in just 1 second. Simply Cyber Academy, I'm going to be actively posting. We have this free Hacking Active Directory course. This isn't like a little mini course. This is like a full-blown, you build a multi-server environment with AD and then just punch through it from a seasoned cybersecurity practitioner. That's super hot. And then I'm actually releasing a blog And we've got tons of content coming. I'm going to start asking guest authors to contribute. This is just another way for us to deliver value to the Simply Cyber community. I'm super pumped about that. Here is Wade Wells's talk, and I'm going to link this to everybody. Oh my gosh, come on now. Right here. Thank you, Wade. And when is it, dude? It's Friday, May 29th?
It's next Friday, I believe. Yeah, at 9 a.m. Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
If you scroll down, there's my awesome picture. I need to get headshots, to tell you the truth. It's been a problem of mine for a while.
Oh, yeah, there it is. Yeah, I see that. Really quick, he said 9 a.m., but what he meant was 12 p.m. So noon Eastern time on Friday. We'll actually schedule that. That'll be great. That'll be great. We'll put that on the calendar for the Simply Cyber community calendar. All right, guys. Daniel Lowry IRL looks to be legit IRL right now. So let's go ahead and raid over there. I want to say thank you to Fleetus and Wade. Thank you to all of you for your great questions, great engagement. Have a wonderful weekend. No show on Monday, remember, because of Memorial Day. I'm Jerry from Simply Cyber. I want to say thank you. I can't play the friggin' outro video because Restream's gross today.
I'll sing it. Do, 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 do.